Okay, naVLoPoMo, day 3. Continuing the tour of my Suzuki TL1000R. Yesterday I talked about the characteristics of a V-twin motor. Today I'm going to talk about the twin Spar Aluminium chassis, or aluminium chassis as one might say in England. Okay, so before the twin Spar chassis style was developed, the motorcycle frames were basically a steel tube that went across the top of the engine. This was called like a double cradle engine because the engine was essentially cradled and the chassis came all the way around the engine. What the double cradle chassis did, it made the proportions of the chassis came around the engine, so it was kind of large and bulky. It was also very thin and flimsy, didn't offer a lot of rigidity, and when a bike starts to flex, nasty things happen with the handling. It doesn't feel good and the bike gets out of control. So the twin Spar Aluminium chassis was developed. As you can see, it's a big, thick, beefy box section. It's like a box section spar, and there's two spars that come down. This is called the headstock, which is where the forks pivot for the steering, and the twin spars will come down around the outside of the engine, making the bike much more rigid. You have a very thick, rigid connection from the headstock to down here, which is called the swing arm pivot, which is where the back wheel is connected to the main chassis. So this is very light, very stiff, and allows better weight distribution. And so really, this style of chassis has really become the standard over the last 20 or so years. Since the big Japanese manufacturers pioneered the use of the twin Spar Aluminium chassis. Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Suzuki really have made that their mainstay. So it's still used in racing, it's still used in all the production bikes that come out of Japan, and there really has not been any other design that has proved to be as successful. Now, some European manufacturers, most famously Ducati, use a what's known as a trellis chassis. That also has the same characteristics of lightweight, rigidity, the right amount of flex to give the rider some feel, and that is made up of like steel tubing assembled in triangular sections to create that spar cradle around the motor, and that's as much as part of their brand and identity as it is part of their sort of structural design. Okay, so that's the twin Spar Aluminium chassis characteristics covered. Tomorrow I'll talk about suspension, as suspension, tyres and the chassis design are all an integral part of what riders call handling. And I'll cover suspension, we'll talk a little bit about tyres, and then talk about how all this comes together and how this bike feels when you're actually riding it, and how it handles in the corners. Alright, this has been naVLoPoMo Day 3. Thanks for watching. Alright, so if you like what you see, please do follow me on Twitter, @LeanAngles, if you like motorcycles, or otherwise @Influx on Twitter. Be seeing you in the coming days. Thanks for watching.